What's going on, guys? It is Royalty Crypto here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the meme coin WIF and really just the overall meme coin market. I also wanted to give some price predictions for Dog with Hat and basically where I see this entire market going in the coming weeks to months. So Dog with Hat is currently the 100th most valuable meme coin, or coin in general. It is sitting at 74 cents, which translates to $743 million market cap. It is slightly up in the past 24 hours. However, it is down about 2.5% in the past 7 days. And the overall 24-hour volume is looking very strong at 190 million, which, as you can see, is higher than Floki and SPX, which are both somewhat more valuable than WIF. So that's a good sign. It really shows that there's more attention on this project than some other coins. And the last thing is that there is 100% of supply in circulation, which you love to see with these meme coins. All right, let's just talk about briefly what I think a realistic price target could be for WIF. If you watched my last video, not much has changed. I still think that WIF could potentially get to as high as 15, probably 15 billion best case scenario, probably more realistically around 10 billion. And again, I believe with these meme coins, you need to have a strategy of selling on the way up rather than perfectly timing the top, because the last thing that you want to do in these coins is accidentally round trip your gains. And in 4 years from now, you never know what the meme coin market could be. Dog with Hat could potentially not even be around during that time. So personally, I don't want to take those chances. I will definitely be looking to sell this coin in the coming months if we do get a parabolic meme coin rally. All right, so let's take a look at some overall indicators for this coin here. Well, actually for the entire market. The Fear and Greed Index is sitting at a 55, and I believe when this updates in an hour, we'll probably be closer to a 57 to a 58. So we are still sitting in neutral. However, we are getting somewhat close to greed again. We were in greed on this before the recent market pullback that took place 2 days ago now. So yeah, I do expect that we will be back into greed and hopefully push more up towards the extreme greed levels in the next month or so. And personally, no matter what price these meme coins are at during the extreme greed levels, I will be selling somewhat heavily. And I believe that it is important to sell into extreme greed because in the past we've seen extreme greed be the local tops for these markets, and it typically only lasts a month. And typically after we hit extreme greed for an extended period of time, we see a rather strong pullback, kind of like you saw here and how you saw here. And typically, even with that pullback, we will recover but trade sideways for a long time. So when these opportunities present themselves and the market is incredibly greedy, you definitely want to sell and take some profits at the very least. All right, let's take a look at the altcoin season indicator. So we are continuing to dip on the altcoin season indicator. We are now back to 49 out of 100. So essentially what that means is it's not necessarily Bitcoin season or altcoin season. We're kind of in the middle. I do think that we will see probably more of a Bitcoin season over the next 2 to 3 weeks, but towards November to December time, I believe that is when we will see the full-blown alt season, and we could potentially get to 90 plus on this altcoin season indicator. And the average crypto RSI is dead in the middle of neutral. So it essentially says that this market is not oversold or overbought. So it's a decent time to buy. I'd say it's a better time to just hold and just, don't do anything. Just wait to see what the next move could be. I'm definitely leaning towards the more bullish side. I think the bulls stepping in and buying up some of that dip from yesterday is definitely a very strong indicator, especially since we have already run up so much in the past couple of weeks. So yeah, I think that we are probably going to flip bullish, but it's still hard to say. It's probably a 60-40 toss-up. All right, let's take a look at the liquidation heat map. This is essentially showing, if you're not familiar with liquidation heat maps, it's showing where there's levels of extreme, like a lot of short traders and long traders. So as you can see with WIF in particular, we have a ton of long traders that could potentially be liquidated at the 71 cent level. We also have small pockets of pretty heavy liquidation levels for short traders between 75 to 77 cents, and then the next level is 81 cents. So I like to see a chart like this with the liquidation heat map because essentially exchanges and whales are more incentivized to liquidate these short traders and cause a short squeeze on this coin rather than liquidate the long traders down here, just because there's so much more short traders at these levels. So personally, what I think is most likely to happen with this coin is that we start to liquidate some of these, especially if the altcoin market gets hot, and essentially see a short squeeze from 73 cents where we're at right now all the way up to probably about 80 to 85 cents, and it could happen very quickly. Like I'm saying, this move could happen in a matter of 12 hours or less. So that will be my short-term prediction for this coin, is that I think we will have a bullish move to 80 cents or higher. All right, and then the next thing I wanted to look at is the FOMC meeting prediction market. So our next FOMC meeting is in 20 days from now, and we have a 94% chance of another FOMC meeting or another 25 basis point cut. So that's fantastic to see. And December, the meeting after this one, we have an 80% chance of another cut. So this has actually come down a little bit in the last couple of days. It was at an 85% chance. I'm not too worried about this. I think that we will get 2 cuts for both of these meetings, but we'll just have to keep watching these indicators to make sure nothing significant changes here. But overall, this would be very bullish for risk on assets and could be exactly what we need to start the next altcoin season rally. All right, and then the last thing that I wanted to talk about briefly is just the price of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin hit all-time highs 2 days ago at 126,200, and we got rejected off of those levels pretty significantly, which I'm not surprised. There's a lot of short liquidations up at 126,500, so it's not going to be easy to break through it. However, I am very encouraged by the recovery that we've had in the past day. We got as low as 120,600 on Bitcoin, and 1 day later we are already back up to 123,500. And since then we've had a pretty steady uptrend, making higher lows and higher highs. So this chart looks very bullish to me. I think that Bitcoin could realistically see another all-time high, possibly as high as 130,000 within the next 3 to 4 days, potentially. And Ethereum is also continuing to recover. Ethereum basically follows what Bitcoin does, so I'm not going to talk too much about this chart. However, you can see that we bottomed at about 4,425, and in the past day we are up over $100 on Ethereum, back up to 4,534. So that's encouraging to see. And then gold, the price of gold has officially broken over $4,000 an ounce. It got as high as $4,060 today and it's fallen a bit since then, down to $4,020. However, it's still incredibly bullish moves for gold, which will translate to crypto in my opinion pretty much any day now. So yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you want me to review any certain coins, please let me know in the comments section below. Thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow.